Today I'm on a roll, so I'm going to go on this next one, which is physical contact, which is the king of frequency conductors. Yet sometimes, why do I not feel connection when I'm receiving physical contact? Now, I'm going to take you down the scientific path first from massage therapy. And from there, we're going to layer it in and show you the components of how does this affect me in my mind and my relationship. So I just shot a video to explain to my massage therapy clients what's going on with the nervous system during a session. And I said, man, this is brilliant. We're going to share this with our collective of Stratosphere Empowered Wellbeing. So here we are. And this is the nervous system, and it is the boss of your muscles, right? I'm going to write it in one go this time. It took me several tries the last time. So the muscles don't contract or release of their own will, or because you overtrained it, overused it, or because if you bruised it, then of course, well, the muscular vessels and the blood vessels in there have broken. So it did happen here, but the one that does all the repair is the nervous system. So the boss of the muscles being tighter or looser is actually the nervous system. So if you alter this, you will change this. So what alters the nervous system? The nervous system needs to feel safe. Now you can't just tell the nervous system, this is a safe place, feel safe. If it were that easy, we'd all be on a good sunny ride with that. But what it needs in the case of massage therapy, and you can apply this to relationships also, is pleasure. And I do use the word pleasure. In massage therapy, I used spiritual juice. It can also be like the magical elixir. It can be the magic potion. It's this component that releases the chemical release in your brain that this feels good. It's hard to feel good and contract at the same time, right? It's not, they're opposing fields. So it's not going to happen. Once you feel good, you can feel safe. And this is to explain to people why so important it is that you should let any juju in your mind about feeling good in a massage session. Yes, this is what the therapist is trying to do. She's trying, or he's trying, to access your nervous system so that the muscle can then release, because the nervous system said it's safe enough now, you can let go, right? And because you can feel safe, the safety allows you to do this other magical component, which is to drop. Some people drop so well that they can actually just fall asleep on the session. And this, sometimes at the beginning I was like, oh, they fell asleep. I'm going to come back up and just stay and make it light, make it feel good. I don't want to be, I don't want to jar them, right? But I realized that actually when they have this amount of drop, it allows me to go even, I'm going to put it here, deep or deeper. I can even go further than I initially planned in the session while they were awake. And I have tried and tested this, and I said, wow, it really works. That this safety component is just key for getting the deeper work done. And of course, since in massage therapy, what we're going for is healing. So we're trying to heal whatever tension, whatever muscular thing is going on. Now here, we're going to circle it back around because You might be thinking, well, now I'm going to go get a massage. But great, good for you. Go do that too. But now here you can see what's the difference between, we're not even going to go into non-pleasurable touch because I think that's obvious, right? That's cringe, that makes you clingy, makes you clam up. We know there's going to be no safety, no drop, no deeper, no healing, nothing, right? So here comes the time factor, which I should have also mentioned in the other one. So here's the hand of touch, and its aim is to give you pleasure. At this moment of pleasure, there is no intimacy going on. This is not the moment of the sexual encounter happening. It can be, but it's not. Like I said in the massage video, you have to have the pleasure, the safety, the drop. You can go a little further, and then you have to circle back up to the pleasure, the safety, the drop, go in a little further, and this is how you start working into the muscles. You're warming up the muscles. That's kind of like what they tell you, but you're not really warming them up with heat. You are doing that also, but more than that, you are heating them up with nervous system communication to your brain saying, it's safe again. It's safe again. If you've ever tried to learn how to do anything, what does it take? Repetition, right? Every time you shoot the hoop, every time you dance the choreography, every time you go down into the splits, eventually the nervous system, yeah, I feel safer. Yeah, I feel safer. Eventually you'll nail the basket. Eventually you've got the choreography down. Eventually you'll be able to open into the splits. The nervous system functions through repetition. So for that, you need time. This is why a lot of times I think, for example, you have a one-night stand. How can that be possible? There's the time trickling down. You didn't have really enough time, right? So there, we'll do a different kind of glass, right? Cling, cling, 2 little olives. What you're doing is breaking down your nervous system. You're taking down the boss with alcohol or whatever substance that else you're doing. It's very hard for the mind to override all, the nervous system can see all the red flags of the whole situation. And if you don't want to see the red flags and you want to move forward and do what you want to do, you're like 2 tequilas in, 2 martinis in, and I can break that down so I can feel safe, hypothetically, and then I can have the drop. Then I can go literally deeper, right? So that's what's happening in that circumstance. I kind of diverged there. Regular circumstance, you're on a date, no alcohol involved. We'll put the beautiful red eggs there. I'm not going to use any of this, I've decided, but I still need this. And this is the organic process, right? The organic process of closeness. And this whole time, the conversation, the words you're using are emitting a frequency. You're like one radio fine-tuning with the other radio. Then you're tuning your radio back again and then listening to them. They're tuning their radio. Till eventually you're wanting both things to be on the same wave. And that's when you become a little bit closer and some form of contact is going to happen. Now let's drop the board for a moment because my arm's getting tired. The first moment of contact is your opportunity. Both sides, male, female, whichever part of the party it is. If you're the one reaching out, it's your opportunity to synthesize and feel the frequency on the other side. Because even though this is going very well, that's why I say physical contact is the king, one of the kings of frequencies. It's one of the easiest, most tangible, most visible. Like the moment you put your hand on someone, instantly there's a connection of the frequencies are meeting head on. Here there's only truth. There's nothing can be masked anymore. Words can mask things, your makeup can mask things, the way that you move your body can even be a show. But the moment they put your hands on you, this frequency is the truth, literally connected to the core of their soul. So if you're talking and it's like just a quick touch, like try to make sure it's in a moment where the person is silent, where there's a pause. And if you're the one that's going to make the move, reach out and touch the person and assess. Give yourself 2 seconds. 2 seconds. They say people make up their mind about people in the first 2 seconds that they see them. I say take these 2 seconds and assess the vibration of the person when you reach out and touch them, right? Here there's charges of information. Hopefully, if this has been going well, you can be pretty sure that the king of frequencies is probably going to be spot on. It would take an organic transition into the next natural thing to happen is for there to be a moment of physical contact. If it is that you haven't, like if you're sitting beside each other or you met at the bar and maybe you've already touched even from the beginning of the situation. But you can do this not only the first time you meet the person, but the second time, the third time, because the frequency of the person varies by the day and it varies by what's been going through their mind. It'll be different every single time. You can kind of read them. Same thing going the other way. You're on this side. If you're not the one reaching out to touch, then you might not be as aware as of the moment because you weren't expecting it, you weren't planning on it. But the moment it happens, now you've watched this video and you can say, contact is happening to me. What kind of energy and frequency and vibration? 2 seconds. 2 seconds. What do you receive? What is your initial, and there's so much information. I cannot stress how key this moment is for moving forward. Be mindful if you met and you didn't have that red X on your martini or your beverage, because your assessment of the frequency will definitely be different because you have numbed some part of your nervous system to drop. It can be that it's okay if they've also done that, but just be aware that that does shift things. And obviously, to get a clearer reading of the frequency, it would be necessary for you to both be on a blank page. So after this initial contact, you would need to start the cycle again of talking, then moving closer, and then another moment of contact. You can't determine how much time this takes, depending on your life experience, what you need, where you're going, what your hopes were, how old you are, how much time you have. So many things depend on how much of these cycles do you need. It's like a spiral, no? So we're cycling up here. And once this is like, I've mastered it, this dance move is on, then you can go to the next spiral and you're like, oh, new move. Now it's this. I have to like, how is this gonna work, right? So take your time with that. But just like here, we'll bring it back up. If you don't feel safe, nothing below this is going to happen. Nothing below this even matters. Let's say that your first moment of contact, there's pleasure, there's feel good, it's good spiritual juice here, and you feel safe. Then is the drop. Everybody drops differently. They say when people move too fast, that's because they dropped much further than what you dropped. You maybe dropped this amount and were ready for that amount of activity or engagement or calling or whatever, but maybe they dropped further because they felt much, much safer, much more comfortable with you than they expected to, or maybe they thought they would, but it's not where you're at. And this is where things in the drop frequency can get a little bit uneven. And that's why, like, relationships are a total dance of frequencies to see where you are. If you so magically happen to drop to the exact same spot of frequency, then you can go deeper. And this doesn't just mean deeper, like deep conversation and sharing intimate secrets or whatever. But here there's a sensation of closeness where this person has become now a part of your continual thoughts. They're a part now of your world. This is going deeper, right? You will always need to cycle back up, just like in the massage therapy. You cannot just stay down here and have that in the intensity. No, it needs the breath. It needs to breathe and come back up. I mean, this should always be happening, that we come up, we have fun, we have pleasure, engage. I can go again and we both feel safe. And then there's another drop and then we go deeper. And the deep moments build on themselves. I'd say the drop moments build on themselves, and also the pleasure moments build on themselves, because we get to know every time we fine tune what makes this person feel better every time. And then here, beyond healing, many relationships are considered healing because you get to do this drop in the deeper. But then I wrote it down here. This is where you feel true connection. This is where I see you and you see me. And there's no more veil, like the veil has been lifted. There's nothing anymore between us. There's the level of transparency has disappeared. And once you feel connection and they feel connection, then this is a true frequency of a relationship. And you can ride that frequency wave together. I think each of those stages take beautiful amounts of time. Sometimes they will be faster. The goal is not to speed it up. Totally. I vote for delayed pleasure, delayed engagement. Why? Because in any case, if maybe that was the timing, let's say for the drop, or it was the time to go deeper, but it doesn't happen, or I don't get to see them, or the event gets canceled, then it gives you the opportunity to cycle back up to, I mean, ground zero is the best. Ground zero is pleasure. Just feeling good with this person, having fun. And all of this is catering to the person's natural needs of the nervous system. The nervous system at all times should feel taken care of. And that's why we're catering to it. And this is exactly what happens in a massage session. The whole time you are receiving, the therapeutic effect is that you are safe within, safe, been able to drop throughout the session, and it has been able to feel good. Yes, then they went deeper, then it felt good, and then this is the cycle, and the body can breathe, right? There's also a living relationship between therapist and practitioner, and I think the relationship and the frequency between you and another person is also like its own living organism. And it can just give you some beautiful perspectives on where am I now? Like where did we go into, oh, I was wanting to go deeper, but he went back up to just have fun and do pleasure. So you might feel you're off, but you're just in different stages of the breathing, and you need to sync back up to, I'd say safety is a good meeting point. We're not always in the mood where we're like, oh, I want to have fun or have pleasure. Yeah. Safety is a good place to meet and be like, well, I need to do something where I feel that the conversation is safe, that I feel good, but we're not just staying here, right? So after we feel good, we meet at a nice restaurant, we have a nice meal. I want to feel safe, and you need to spend some time in safety before you can go anywhere else. I think this is key, especially for the side of the relationship that might be considered, or they consider themselves more sensitive. Then there's nothing wrong with loving this person in such a way that you willingly want to provide for their nervous system the safe space. Because none of the other glorious depths, connection, intimacy, none of that will happen without that solid part of the entry. And I thought that was just like a super interesting parallel world comparison, just for fun. Hope you enjoyed that. And every day we wake up stronger. I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.